Hello everyone. So we are from Akshara Softwares. So by the way, myself Murthy, I am working in TCS as a full stack developer. So I have 2+ years experience in full stack. So today we are going to discuss about full stack. So basically, full stack consists of two things. So one is a front end and one more thing is a back end. So if we know front end as well back end means, so we are the full stack developers. So firstly we'll discuss what is front end, what is back end. So front end is nothing but it is called as a UI. It means like a user interface. The user interface is called as front end. So basically, you can choose any websites or web applications or mobile applications or Android application, anything. So there in the display on the screen, whatever you can see, that is called as UI. For example, we can take our website, that is our Akshara Software Technologies. So in this display, whatever you can see here, this is called as UI. For example, this content, I mean, the content is moving from right to left, some contact address, some mobile numbers, this is a home, about this farm, everything is a user interface. So simply what you have to know here, na? So in the system or in display or mobile, whatever you can see, that is called as a UI, user interface. So we have to build one user interface means there we are implementing front end technologies. That is called as front end basically. So we have to develop a proper user interface means there's some technology we have to implement here. The first thing is a HTML and then CSS and JavaScript. So using these three technologies only, we are making a proper user interface like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Majorly, we are using these three things only, guys. So what is the purpose of using HTML, CSS, JavaScript? One by one, we'll discuss it now. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is a markup language, not a programming language here. So markup language or written language or structure language, these three are same only. It is called as structure language. We have to make one structure. So there we are using HTML part. So basically we'll see in this example in the same website. So we'll see here in this website what are the content, some paragraphs, headings, some list of items here, some forms, buttons, some headings is there. You can see these heading also. And whatever you can see the content, any content, everything comes under HTML. That is called as HTML. HTML is a markup language or structure language. So we have to make a proper structure here, like forms, tables, headings, these kind of things. They were using HTML part. So now coming to the CSS. So CSS stands for Cascading Styling Sheets. So basically using HTML, we are making proper content like majorly. So majorly here we are making tables, forms, and then paragraph, headings. So these things majorly we are making in HTML. So for this table, for this form, paragraphs, headings, we have to apply some styles like colors, background colors, some alignments, left side, right side, top, bottom. The first row we have to define some 4 items, next row 3 items, like these kind of things. We have to make a proper design. There we are implementing CSS part actually. I mean styling purpose. Styling purpose we are using CSS part. For example, you can see here. So we can see the first row we have some collection of items. So now these are row. How many columns? These are column, these are column, these are column. Some number of columns is there. These are the CSS part only. This is called as alignment. So we have to make one proper alignment. You can see. So these things left side is there. These heading and paragraph right side is there. These are the alignment. So we have to make a proper alignment also. We are using CSS part. And you can see one text color, background color is black is there. Text color white is there. And you can see these are left side. These two things right side. On proper form designing is there actually here. These are also we are making using a CSS part. So here, so using HTML, CSS, we are making one proper web page, proper web page here. So now we have a web page. So for example, we have one web page now. So web page we are developing using HTML, CSS only. So then why we are using JavaScript? So JavaScript is a programming language. So HTML, CSS is not in a programming language. It is a structured language or markup language. So JavaScript is a pure programming language. It is a very, very important thing. So the thing is here out. So you can see here. So using HTML, CSS, we can develop a proper UI. These are UI actually. So we have a form here. We have a form, for example, services, courses, some kind of things is there. See here, we just go for courses or any course, for example, Java full stack. Yeah, just come here and yeah. So for example, you can see here uh, we have one form is there like name, WhatsApp number, course name, and submit button. For example, the user entering here, user given name and WhatsApp number, course name. So once click this submit button. So these credentials we want to read it here. So we want to read. I mean the specific dynamic values we want to read here. Dynamic values read or write or update or delete. So these kind of operations we have done. They are using JavaScript. So for example, basically simply now, for example, if we have one content, so for example, something like content is there. So hello hall. So some content is there. So we have one button also is there. Button. For example, so when the user clicking this button, so when the user click this specific button, so this content we have to update it or delete it or read or something we have to add it. So in these kind of operations we are doing it using JavaScript. So simply you have to understand here. So JavaScript is a pure programming language or scripting language. It is used to make some dynamic effects and interact the browser. That is the main purpose of using JavaScript part here. So using HTML, CSS, JavaScript too, we are making proper user interface. So only these three things only we are using in the UI. And finally, we'll see one more thing also is there actually. Every programming language, every programming language have some frameworks. So JavaScript is a programming language. So here also we have some framework that is a React.js. React.js. So JavaScript is a programming language. JavaScript framework is called as React.js. So what is a framework first? So framework means nothing but so framework means like predefined. So like not word here, this is a work. Yeah. So framework is predefined. It means like so using HTML, CSS, JavaScript also we can build a proper user interface. Then why we are preferring React.js framework means, so here also we are using normal HTML, CSS, JavaScript code also we can implement here. One specialty is there, I mean React.js framework specialty. So comparing HTML, CSS, JavaScript using these three technologies, we are doing one task. It will take some time. For example, 1 hour time. It will take 1 hour time. The same task when we are doing in React.js framework. React.js framework means same task we are doing here. It will take only 30 minutes time. So the main reason, these are main reason. So how, I mean, why it will take 30 minutes only means in React.js framework, some predefined components is there. Predefined components and libraries. So predefined libraries and components is there. So when we are using predefined components and libraries, we can easily build a user interface. That is the main reason actually. So we can easily connect with the database, these kind of things also in React.js comparing JavaScript. So mostly in real time, we are going to use frameworks only, not in a language. Yeah, some of course we're using the language also, but most of the companies preferring. Most of the we have to build. Everybody thinking like we have to do early only. So as soon as possible, we want to complete it. That is a mindset right, for everybody. That is a perspective we're going to implementing React.js framework. So not only React.js now on Angular also one thing is that so Angular.js also is there. But mostly nowadays company is preferring React.js. So here we are going to discussing React.js, not on Angular. So just avoid it using the Angular. So these are the front-end technology like mainly HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React.js. So these four technologies we are discuss in front end. So now coming to the backend part. Backend. So basically front end means user interface. So backend is nothing but it is a server connectivity, server connection. Like for example, like we have some data, we have some data. So data, if you have some, we have some data is there. The specific data we have to transfer, transfer to transfer from data transfer from one server to another server. There we are using a backend work actually. So the backend, the main reason server connectivity like data transfer to the from one server to another server. There we are using the backend technology and all here. For example, we'll see we have one form. When the user given name, WhatsApp number, course name, once click the submit button here, the entire credentials going to the admin panel. It means from this server, this is your server now here. From this server to the entire data going to admin panel. So how it is working? That is a backend part actually. From this server to data going to the some other server. That is called as backend part. Okay. So for example, another example we'll discuss it now. If we have on Paytm and we have WhatsApp, on Messengers, Facebook. So collection of applications is there. For every application, front end also is there, back end also is there actually. For suppose just I'm just going to explain using the ATM machine. So we have an ATM machine. When you go for the ATM, there once you put the card, there one display is there actually. In the display, whatever you can see. So the display is called as UI. So in that display, whatever you can see some options like withdraw, either change password, something like balance inquiry, or savings account, or current account. Some options is the 8 month. So in that display, whatever you can see, that is called as UI. So once we entered the personal PIN, 4-digit PIN. Personal PIN means we got the money, right? We got the money. So how it is working here actually? So we have an UI. So when the user given the personal 4-digit PIN means we got the money, right? At the same time, we get the message also, confirmation. We get the message also, like confirmation, right, guys? So how it is working, man? From the specific ATM server to data going to the bank server. From bank server to the data will be getting users. That is a way it will be working there actually. That is called as a backend part. So the backend is a transferring data from one server to another server. So these are very good example actually. I hope you guys are understood, right? So this is called as front end and back end. So finally, in full stack, so we are going to discuss here are database part also. Database. So in these database, what are things is what is the main reason we use database purpose like storing purpose only. So we have to store some data. For example, we have some data is there. We have to store some data somewhere. Storage bucket is called as a store, I mean database. So here For example, uh, registration page and login page and logout logout page. You know what is registration, what is login, what is logout. I mean, we have on a registration form, we have on login form, and finally logout also is there actually. So the first thing is here, we have to register. This is the first step. I mean, we have to create our account. When we are visiting new websites and new applications, it firstly asking authentication, right? We have to register your account, then only you can log in the page. So we have registration form is there. The user can register here. Once the register has been done successfully, means the registration credentials going to store somewhere. There we are using. We have to store somewhere, right, Mark? That is a database actually. So database, in this database only you can store the data. So once registration has been done, the credentials are stored in database. From database existing data, we have to get it now. Once getting means, then you can log in easily here. So without registration, we can't log in the page. So once register has been done, the credential going to database. From database to get the data, then you can log in the page. Once login has been done, then you can easily log out the page. So the only thing is actually database, store data, get the data, update some these credentials kind of operations like create, read, update data operations. We are doing in a database also the same thing only. So these are entire I mean course details. I mean for demo. So it's a front end and back end database. I hope it is understood well. So